afternoon, everyone. This is our first talk recital. We've done something similar, as I mentioned earlier, in the past, where it was like kids were presenting how they learned and what they did during their practice of a piece. But this is our first time doing it in person, so we're really excited about this. I think it's going to end up being sort of like the TED Talk, intimate TED Talk of piano for us. So we're really excited, and we have three presenters today in the first performance. And in the second performance afterwards, in the next session, we'll have 4 more. But this is our first round. We have 3 people presenting today, and the first one up will be Varun. So I'm going to introduce Varun now down, and as each of you guys come in, go ahead and introduce yourself as you come in. All right, let's hear it up for Varun.
All right, hello, my name is Varun, and I'll be playing Microchip by Patrick Beachman. So this piece it's one of my favorite pieces because when I was younger, I heard it for the first time, and I thought, wow, I really want to play this piece one day. So I'm at that point now. So the process of learning this piece was a long one because it's a 12-page song, very long. Basically, when I first started, I took the right hand and the left hand separately, and I was playing through it. I wasn't focusing on mistakes, I was just focusing on getting through it, trying to get a full playthrough. And then I would look at rhythms that seemed to repeat themselves, or patterns that would help me identify or play the piece faster. And then after that, when I started practicing the piece, I put both hands together, like graphing them. I used forms of chunking, so I took sections of the piece and split them apart, approaching like a problem. I took it into smaller problems, handled each one separately, and put it back together. And that helped me make it more clean. I worked on consistency and flow, and then later on, when I was refining the piece for performances, I used metronome, so that was helping the beat, so it would be more consistent, and I wouldn't speed up or slow down in certain places, and now it's ready to perform.
Next slide.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Alright, so you might see the first section. So the way I chunked it was where certain rhythms would repeat themselves. So you see the first one, right? On the right hand, it would kind of be like this. And since after knowing that rhythm, since it repeats itself for that entire line, I pretty much already know that entire line. And then for the one below that, it's the same process. I would, or yeah, something like that. And then because of that, it made it a lot faster to learn. There are also certain sections where I may have split it apart. So there are octaves. Instead of taking, I would take the highest of that, so it'd be simpler to learn when I first started. And then I'd add the harder parts later on. And yeah, that's it. Yeah.
room, I don't know if anyone has any questions, but if you want to open up the floor to any questions about that piece specifically or about anything that you did.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions? Anyone have any questions? I have a question. Did you pick out this piece or did your team?
I picked it out.
And this piece is not an actual, because I remember this guy he's known for his arrangements of pieces, right?
No, he made this one.
Right, so I think this is the original composition,
Yeah,
right?
it's original.
That's interesting. So yeah, he had like some interstellar piece that got, I think, 50 million views or something, and then he started writing his own pieces after that arrangement. Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing. Great. Okay, we'll have Grace go next. Switch.
The challenge in this piece was mainly fluency. Fluency is being able to get from the beginning to the end of the piece without mistakes or hesitation. The practice strategy I use is called backwards practice. And backwards practice is a technique where you take the last measure of the section that you're working on and practice it several times. And then you practice the second to last measure and practice them together and keep going until you reach the beginning of the piece. Then I will be playing an example. And the part that's highlighted in blue, I will be playing 2 times. And then I practice that together with the measure before that is highlighted in red. And then that's how you do backwards practice. Any questions?
Do you have any questions? Because then people will have questions.
Was this a piece that you wanted to play or somebody recommended it?
My teacher recommended it and then I liked it. So, yeah.
I have a question about backwards practice. So I like that you called it, by the way, like the slides are you have like such an aesthetic, it's very design oriented. I had a question about, so you wrote 3x and you only did 200 here. Is there a certain number that matters to you? Like, does it can be 100 times?
Yeah, you can practice it as many times as you want. You just have to make sure you practice it like several times or like more.
So a certain number, okay. Yeah, so I guess maybe more difficult pieces would have more times.
Yeah.
And then how do you know like how big the section is? Like you put 3 measures here, and then the green one's 3, and they're all different, like all different amounts. No, they are all different amounts, but the purple's 4. How did you know where to cut it?
Like the measures?
Yeah, like, or the sections. Like how did you know where to cut the section?
There's just like, there's some patterns, and then I just break them up between the patterns.
Got it. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Good job. Yeah, Posse, come on. Give me 1 second just to set up here. And then just let me know when you're gonna change, so I can turn that over. Yeah, okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Tapasia Hardenheim and I'm going to be talking about the process of how I learned minuets 1 and 2. Next please. We're going to start with minuet 1. Measure 1 to 9, measures 1 to 3 were very hard in this section, so the tempo was different until I mastered it. Here's an example of how I played it. The problem was a disconnect between the right hand and left hand speed and accuracy. I practiced hands separately until the tempo was consistent. I also practiced making the tempo consistent by counting the beats. And now it sounds like this. And now on to minuet 2. In minuet 2, I started taking notes of my lessons and practice sessions. Next. On June 3rd, measure 15, the triplets were too slow. On June 25th, measures 26 to 28, the shifting and stretching left hand was the challenge. I practiced the triplets while saying triplet out loud. I added both hands together, recognizing the left hand shapes. I changed the finger numbers to help. Next. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed my performance.
you been practicing it?
A few months.
Few months? Amazing. Good job.
Thank you.
I have a question. So you learned 2 minuets. What is a minuet?
It's like,
They're both minuets, right? Both are
Yeah.
pieces?
yeah, the first one was minuet in G major,
Uh-huh.
and then the second one was another minuet in G major
Yeah.
by two different authors. Well, one is anonymous, one is from Joanne Sebastian Bach.
Yeah. So one thing that's interesting, I think the second one you did a really good job with. I really enjoyed hearing how you have the beat going, and this is like really hard to do because your hand is not in a stable position. So do you notice when you're playing that, your hand's really wide, especially for your age, right? You're not comfortable playing an octave, so that was really good. A minuet is a dance. So what was really good about the second one was that your beat was so stable, and I like that you talked about how you got the beat to be stable in the first one. So both of those are really important. So it's not just that we wanted the beat stable for nothing, but we wanted the beat stable because people are dancing to it. So that's why the beat is so important. So that might be something to include in your talk, so that you can tell people this is why I needed to really get the beat stable, because people are going to dance to this potentially.
Yeah, because Kanemoto is basically with motion. That's why it's like kind of like a dance.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like with motion all the time.
Definitely. All right. Thank you guys so much. Yeah. I'm really not kidding about this. Okay. Well, I think that went pretty well. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I know everyone's coming from different places, so wherever you drove from, thank you so much. And we'll probably do this going forward. I think it's working out really well, whether it's in person or remote. And the idea is just basically to review what you did to get where you got. And I think that's really important. We so often learn things and we don't actually notice that we learn things, and that's pretty important for us at Oclef. We're constantly documenting everything. We have literally years of your children's learning in our software, but we want them to also recognize that. And maybe not a 7-year-old, but maybe as you guys get to 8, 9, 10, you can start to recognize 12, 13 what you've done, and that's the point of this recital. So thank you so much for your parents driving you guys out here and spending your Saturday afternoon with us.